Last time on the Goblin Market, the crew's fears of betrayal and ambush were realized when they were attacked by rival crews during the execution of their mission. That mission was bringing back the strapping young noble Gregor Wint to the Goblin Market. But the crew also got new information and insight into the way the market works. From the ancient ream turned rogue, Sheba. Wanted for breaking contract and absconding with the valuable ream, she explained her motivations to Dinfa and crew. King Bodum himself intended to take the ream for his own permanent body after he was exiled. Such a break of contract offended Sheba so much that she was willing to risk everything, get in league with the Blue Foundry and her contact there, a goblin named Hawthorne. And that's when everything fell apart for Dinfa, Charnak, Ibis, and maybe the whole Goblin Market. An earthquake of sorts hit that only seemed to bother the goblins. They vomited and suffered vertigo, and the biggest horror, as they cut each other down in the streets of Hardad, rather than disappearing and going back to their home plane, they bled out in the streets. Sheba was killed, but rather than disappearing into the great by and by, her essence was sucked back into the noble ream. What is going on in the universe? It's about time to find out. Welcome to the Dungeon Dads.
To the river they tread, only to be swept away.
Morning and evening you may hear the cry, candies and berries and baubles to try, sweet to the tongue and sound to the eye, but heed words of caution when you then decide to come by, get, come by, get.
Just beware the Goblin Market.
Hey, everybody, and welcome back to the podcast. You're listening to Dungeon Dads, the Goblin Market. As always, I'm your DM, Tom Blaylock, and I am joined by John Watson playing Dinfa the Azamar.
Yes. Dinfa the Azamar.
This is 5 episodes in now.
We've been at this for a minute now, and come on.
Take that question mark out your voice.
This shit was your idea, Tom.
Listen, when I was writing up my opening, every other time I wrote out my little intros for each person. This is what happens when you rush a genius. This is it. This is what happened.
As if it hasn't been weeks since we played last.
Yeah.
That's right. It's been a little bit. And Tim Carr playing Ibis the Tiefling.
Oh, hello.
Good
Welcome
to see
home,
you.
Tom. Welcome home to the Goblin Market. We all know this is your home.
And to America, which I just returned to last night at 11 p.m.
Oh, man.
Oh, yeah. And Sam Frank playing Charnak the Botanist and Gnome. Do I have that right, Sam?
I mean, yes, all of those things are correct. I don't think they're the complete picture of who Charnak is, but they're certainly important attributes.
I mean, weren't you originally going to be called Charnak the Coward? That's gone, right?
I feel like that was in the ethos somewhere.
It may come back.
right. Well, especially now. Are you guys ready to get right into it?
Yes.
Let's do it.
So ready.
So, just a little preamble. So after you stepped back into the Goblin Market and you were welcomed by the Portal Master, you were all still feeling extremely sick, and you made it back to your barracks where you discovered that like everyone here experienced a moment of illness and vertigo. Everyone has experienced the same thing you have. And you've been back in the market for an hour or two only, and you are summoned by Zagat to go to the baths.
All right. I will make a point. I said this in the bonus, but for those of you listeners who are not Patreon supporters, you would not have heard it. Ibis and Davman have made a point of finding some sort of snack.
Yeah.
Finding something to eat immediately upon return as like top priority before anything happened.
And
it's
why?
Probably standard protocol anyway, but
yeah. standard protocol, but you also had some beer and
Yes, as
some
part of
nuts
my
or something.
as part of my attempts to find Gregor, I ordered beer and imbibed on another plane,
Yep.
So you got to re-anchor yourself.
which
Yeah.
bound me to that plane, and now
Trouble.
I am eating on this plane to rebind myself to the Goblin Market, unless everything is in shambles.
Well, what I will say to you in terms of your inner feelings, in fact, give me a perception check, everybody.
Oh boy.
And-
We're using this from our
Just from the
pilot
Kybers.
characters.
Just
Kybers.
from the Kybers, yeah.
19.
Great.
17.
Perfect.
23.
Wow.
So when you
All
return,
our heads are on a swivel right now.
Yeah. High alert.
when you return home normally, it's sort of a hard thing to explain. It's like when you've been on a trip away from your home for a while and you come home and you realize, oh, I haven't pooped right. And as soon as you get back in your home toilet, it's like you're in it. Like, and all those little small things. I haven't slept quite right. I haven't done all these things. And you get home and you just feel better. And you didn't realize you didn't feel that way when you were away. You don't have that feeling now. Like you don't have that feeling of I am definitely home as you return to the Goblin Market.
We are not at ease.
You are not at ease. And it's not just because of like the sights that you saw and the things that happened. You know, Gregor went and Sheba have been taken off. Like, you're safe away from them, but it just doesn't feel right here. And you kind of see that in people's faces, and even people who were not out on a mission, right? Like, nobody's quite right at all. And so, you know, you're summoned. Zagat sends Idir to your barracks, and Idir basically says, she needs you in her bath in 30 minutes. I'm glad to see that you are alive.
I don't know if that's going to be enough time. I've been trying to poop for a while here, and I still don't feel cleaned out. I think there's a complicated situation brewing.
You may use the sewer drop in the bathhouse. That would be my suggestion.
Is this a situation where we leave and head to the baths and the Reams go with Idir?
The Reams are back in the Reamery.
Well, we all just got back. They just are ushered off. What happened?
Yeah,
to
it's
the
about
Reams?
an hour after you got back. You guys have done the normal thing. You come in, your Reams go to their place, you go to your place.
Okay, so people are in a rush. They look like something weird's happening, but nobody's panicking. Nobody's freaking out.
Nobody's freaking out. I mean, they just look kind of sick. But it's weird because everybody looks sick.
Okay.
Unmoored. I guess unmoored is the better word for it. Just like they're in a boat and they don't have their sea legs.
Oh. And we haven't, as we were walking through, it's been an hour. We're not hearing anything in the background. People shouting things out, being
No.
weird, talking about weird things.
No.
Okay. Well, Dinfa begins getting ready to head to the bath. Dinfa's a little shaken. There are a lot of things that have happened.
Yeah.
And I definitely a sense of looking around and like, does anybody know what we did?
Oh yeah, you said that Gregor was taken.
Yeah, Gregor was taken immediately.
Do we know
Zagat took Gregor immediately. You know not where, but you assume the place where she goes when she gives her briefings after your missions are over.
Was she joined by anyone, or it just seemed like it was her and Gregor?
Her and Gregor.
Gregor/Sheba.
Gregor/Sheba. Yes, Sheba's definitely occupying Gregor still.
Well, yeah.
So what
Dinfa's
pronouns do they prefer?
I mean, you heard her use her own voice through him. She does not have the ability that Ibis has to mask her presence.
All right. Well, shall we continue with the amble? I believe that is what happens after the preamble.
Yeah, Dinfa is already moving towards the baths. Needed in 30 minutes, whatever. I'll be there in 15.
I've just been looking for somebody to tell me somewhere to be.
Yeah.
Yeah. At least it sounds like someone has a plan.
All right, so you guys going to go straight to the baths?
Yeah, I am.
Okay. And
Yeah, I still don't feel quite clean.
Yeah.
I think I need to get in the bath.
Exactly.
So when you arrive in the baths, it's usually got 25 or 30% capacity full in here usually. And when you get here, there's no one here. There's the usual bath attendants that work here all the time, the sort of flame out reams and flame out kybers, and the children of contract enforcement that sometimes work here. They're here, but there are not ream or kyber or other like marketeers here using the baths at all. And the attendant says, I suppose you will be going to your lady's bath. It is not yet warm. I will turn the fires on.
Yes, please.
And he heads over and puts some hot coals in a copper box that has sort of copper piping that runs through it to where it's sort of boiling the water and sort of adding it to warm up the bath for you.
While we're getting ready, I'm going to slip a note to Ibis. And it's just going to say, we need to talk.
I'm going to roll a perception check. Natural 20. Hey, what's that note say?
I'm just going to put my finger over my lips and then continue going to the baths.
Okay.
You ever have that feeling that everyone knows something except you? Well, not me. I'm usually the one who knows the things.
So you guys have about, probably 10, 15 minutes before Zagat is going to come, or, her appointed time when she told you to get here. Do you guys want to chat here?
I don't know. Do we,
Dinfa? I don't know. Dinfa wanted.
Is it it's just us?
Yeah, it's just you. There's attendants that are around, but they don't, except for when they're called over, they don't come over to the baths. They take you in, they're warming the bath up, and then they head off.
What is going on?
And the baths are like a hot tub. There's running
like
water, there's noise.
That's
it's
right.
not, it muffles some of your speech. I think we can talk here if you want, Dinfa. At least until Zagat gets here.
I do not know what to say or how to explain what is happening, but I need you to have a mental conversation with H.
Well, I cannot do that until I am back with Davmin. I cannot do that now.
That is all I can tell you.
Why is that all that is strange?
Does it seem to you guys like everybody's acting weird?
Everything that just happened is weird.
I thought it was just me because we murdered those guys.
They should not have died.
But now it looks like everybody's looking at us. Or I should say, not looking at us. They got their own problems to worry about. Everybody's being very strange.
Well,
How are you two feeling?
I'm still. I have to say,
Like I still got something up there.
I had to force myself to eat when I returned. It was not pleasant because I did not want to put any food in my stomach. But I had beer when I was with Robert before we met Gregor, just to try to get an inroad, and I realized my mistake, but perhaps it did not matter with everything that happened with those people. Those Reams should not have died.
They should not have. Something is very wrong.
Those guys have been around for a while. They wouldn't have attuned to that plane unless there was a reason.
No, they were not amateurs. It was not their first time. Do you think something happened here too?
Everyone is acting very strange.
Yes, that is the only reason.
Perhaps Zagat will have some insight into this.
Well, did anyone notice I was vomiting quite a lot? Did anyone notice who all was affected? It did not seem like the entire town we were in.
No.
I'm just happy that everyone else seems to have bigger problems right now than noticing that we've killed other members of the Goblin Market. Off books.
Don't say that again.
Extrajudicially.
Okay.
Non-contractually.
Charnak, shut up.
Okay.
Shut up, Charnak. Why are you so annoying sometimes? I say more loudly than I should.
Some people find the truth annoying.
No, it is not that, Charnak. It is that if you do not want people to find out, you should not be saying it aloud anymore.
Hence my note writing.
Who's going to hear us here?
You said we should talk, and now we still have some privacy.
It is better to confront Zagat about this, but
I agree.
I've been made aware of some new information, and before I can take any action, I need it confirmed, and I cannot do it.
Let me ask a question. Do you think we fulfilled the terms of our contract?
We were sent to bring the Ream, and Zagat has the Ream.
We fulfilled our contract. Okay. I do not doubt it.
So we only have so much to worry about, really.
Well, the only thing is we were attacked.
The Ream has an extra rider. We killed some guys.
There is more going on here, Charnak.
But in the past, even when things have gone wrong, if we fulfilled the contract, we can only get in so much trouble. So John's looking at me like, I don't even know what to say to you.
So I'm not worried about the contract. We did the contract. I'm worried about the bigger ramifications.
I'm just going to pretend you didn't say you're not worried about the contract.
And so you should be. And you see from almost out of nowhere, Zagat stands up like she's wearing a robe, tosses it off, and jumps her naked green little body into the hot water, and she says, "Well, at least we know it wasn't us."
What wasn't us?
We didn't do it.
What happened?
Something else did it. I don't know what did it, but something else did it.
Did what, Zagat? Did what?
All I know is that we've been getting reports of other dead Reams. Lots of other planes.
Meaning everyone... Wait, Reams that should have disappeared did not disappear.
This is what I'm saying. And some of it we're not even sure. I came from the infirmary, and In a normal day, they will have 300, 400, and our mercantile will be transported back there over the course of a mission, mostly reams. 0. None.
How long were we gone?
Well, that's the other weird thing. We were only supposed to be gone for a few moments here. We were gone a few moments plus 3 or 4 minutes. The equivalent of a month
That's,
on an A-plane.
we were not there for more than...
We certainly were not there for a month. Now, I haven't given my full debrief to Josie yet. I wanted to talk to you first. But I have talked at length with Sheba.
Sheba made it back.
She is still in the Gregor Wint.
I didn't know that was possible.
Zagat, what is going on?
I don't know exactly what's going on, but... And she looks over and... How are you in the bath? Are you, like, what's your general stance? Like, are
Spread
you...
eagle.
Sure. Are you, like, leaning back against the bath? Like, are you nervous, hunched over? Like, what's your...
I think Ibis is, like, knees together, sort of leaning forward, hands together, like thinking, concerned body language, not open, not relaxed at all.
And Dinfa definitely was leaning back against the wall until he said, "What is going on? Let's lean in."
Okay.
I say, Zagat, it concerns me that when Ibis said, "I didn't know such a thing was possible," you did not immediately say, "Me neither."
Well, one of the things that stallmasters are privy to are anomalous magical occurrences in regards to the goblin market. It's not unheard of for a dying Kyber to transfer into another body. I myself have facilitated it once.
On purpose.
And she leans in close and says, very much on purpose.
For yourself?
Do you mean if things go wrong, I could be trapped inside that hideous elf forever?
Yes, that's a possibility, but please do not take offense to this, Charnak. But it is a control of the craft that I do not think you possess.
Perhaps do not possess yet.
Perhaps yet. It is something that, well, let me just lay the whole thing out for you. I have already told Dinfa this. I'm sure he has shared it with you, but maybe not the finer details of it. Your dear friend...
Of course, we have no secrets among us. I'm sure that my good friend Dinfa has told me all that is relevant.
I'm positive that he has. Your dear friend from Kyber School and my former lover, Hawthorne.
Hey, did we know that already?
I did not know that.
Is not dead. She is only occupying the shape of a frog, masquerading as my new familiar.
How does that...
And I just whack Dinfa on the back of the head.
Ow! Why?
It's just a little gnome hand with not much strength.
You must understand. You must understand the greatness of this information. This is someone who was executed. And now Zagat knows the information. I know, which puts me in danger. But if I let you know, now you're in danger, especially if I have not confirmed it yet.
Wait. Dinfa, you knew this?
I was told before we went into the A plane by Zagat, because I knew something was wrong. I knew she was hiding something. I confronted her. She told me that Hawthorne was H. But what am I supposed to do with this information?
It sounds like she didn't just know it. She
I remember
did it.
this. I remember this differently, but it is no problem. Listen, here is the point. The magic that it took for me to facilitate H to enter a frog and take it over and keep it for her own was something that took me many, many years to cultivate. Obviously, I have only left Kyber School a few months ago, 7 months ago. So how did I have years to practice this magic?
You went somewhere else.
You got effed.
Opposite. I got aid.
You got effed in the A.
But even worse than that, Charnak, I went to Magical Oddities and I had them make me a room.
A room?
A room?
A room?
A training room.
Hold on. Before we get into this, I want to go back just a second.
The jungle.
You spend all this time and energy and effort to learn the magic, to put Hawthorne's mind into a frog, and the best name you could come up with was H.
It was a pet name for her that I had.
Yeah. And you decided to name your pet the pet name?
Not even you suspected, so how would anyone else?
Hidden in plain sight. I like it. I like it.
When I came back to interrogate Gregor/Sheba, I took her to my jungle. And just to see what would happen, I went in and spent a minute and came out. A minute had gone by here. My jungle is no safe place for training anymore. I fear that this has happened everywhere in the goblin markets. Everywhere we touch, everywhere we reach.
Are you saying all the planes?
No, I can't say that. I think Bodum or someone here on the depth chart of our corporate structure, Hicksaw, Viber, Treefall, someone has done this.
How could anyone do such a thing?
I don't know. I look what I've learned in this short time. I've been doing this for what? I had 6 months, and what I could do. I'm sure you've noticed. I am no Kyber dropout now. I have many powers you have even seen.
You are casting some major spells.
And who knows? Viber has been here for 100 years. If he has done the thing that I have done, he could be a great sorcerer. I don't know.
A great enough sorcerer to change the fundamental laws of the universe.
Or something simpler. I don't know.
What has happened to Sheba?
I had to turn her over to Josie. She will be tried in Goblin Court.
You had to turn her over.
Dinfa, it is not time. We cannot go against Josie at this moment. She's too connected, she's too powerful. And for her part, I think she feels bad for killing my lover.
Even if the fundamental laws of the universe have changed, has a contract been broken?
According to Sheba, many contracts have been broken. At the very least, the kings have been read in to what all the mercantiles do. Now, a king is a king, and of course, they have not infinite power or control, but according to Sheba, that was not supposed to happen.
Well, I'm more concerned about the kings permanently transferring into Reem bodies, which sounded like nonsense to me until Sheba, and now look over at the frog.
Ribbit.
Does she understand what I'm saying?
I don't know. I should have told you months ago.
Oh gods, I licked her.
Well, I have to say that was always part of her magic. She could even do that.
Did you see all this coming, Zagat, because you licked her a lot?
I have to say, it was part of it. Yes, I had a very. We were very intimate, and I saw her end. I saw her decapitated.
I think. Oh, I was going to say it sounds like you saw both ends.
John, poor John. Just.
And had a strongly saliva-based magic and also saliva-based relationship.
It is true. It's why she never bathes with us in this tub. I do not want to share the power of her skin with someone who might come after us.
I think we're drifting from the point.
Indeed, the point here is that we cannot go against Josie.
Was it Josie that was behind the attack on us in A12?
I think it must be.
So then, if we cannot go against her, she is allowed to go against us. Is that what you mean?
I will be disciplining the Kybers that were involved that were not killed by us, who we saw
Vunk
in
Henke
Hardent.
must have had something to do with this.
Well, I've already turned in Vunk and Henke, but Henke has refused to talk, and Vunk is putting all the blame on his brother. I don't think Henke had anything to do with it, to be honest with you. The Goblin Court is made up of good, strong, high-willed, high-wisdom magisters. I think they will get to the bottom of this.
Have their reams come back? Do we know which reams are missing? I know they could still be coming.
They still could be coming.
But if Vunk and Hanky's crews have all returned, except for perhaps ones that were slain.
They have not come back. The ones we slew they're dead.
Did anything happen to the Kaibas?
They were kicked right out of their reams, and not all of them are back yet, but I have a feeling they will be, or
They will find their way.
they will find their way.
We should be waiting for them.
I am going to make a suggestion. I do not know if anyone will come after us here in the market. I think I am safe. I am worried about you three. I will take you into my jungle until the trial of Hanky and Sheba. I will also allow you to bring in the Reams.
What is this jungle of yours?
It's my training jungle room.
But what I understand that, but is it actually a jungle? Do you live in trees there? Is there a village? How big is it?
It is empty. I have plenty of food there.
Is it safe to eat?
Well, that was always my plan, is that I would not be attuned to the market itself. I would be attuned to my jungle room, and I don't know what happens now.
It's very smart, Zagat.
I would have shared it with you.
No, it is fine. I understand.
It's too dangerous. I don't talk like Dinfa, like I wasn't trying to protect you. I was trying to protect me. I spent every piece of gold that I had accumulated to get magical oddities to make this for me. That is how Hawthorne met the Blue Foundry.
I know it may be too soon, but has Markeef gotten back in touch? Do you know if he is alive?
I do not know.
Do we know if items brought back are still traceable?
Good point. I don't know.
I wonder if that whole department will no longer be needed.
Well, that's interesting. I had not considered that.
This could all just be temporary.
It could
An
be
anomaly.
temporary.
I don't want to go through that again. Why do you have to say that, Charnak? I've never vomited so much in my life. My head hurts so bad.
We must bring this back to the one immutable rule of the Goblin Market. No one can violate a contract. We have fulfilled our end of the bargain for this mission. We are still fulfilling the terms of our contract. If Josie is attempting to prevent us from fulfilling Goblin Market contracts, that should be enough to have her branded an outlaw and executed. But it must be proven, and until we can prove it, all of our contracts are in danger.
Jarnak, do not take this the wrong way. It is very quaint. We are talking about potentially every king, at least the last 4, who have explicitly broken contracts. No Ream signs up to be a forever vessel. Kings are supposed to remain within their gates. A king who comes up...
Zagat, no frog signs up to be a forever vessel either. Until I see the contract, I reserve judgment.
Fair enough. I did not think it would right to put her inside a person. Frogs, animals seem simple, like they would not even notice being taken over like this, but you are perhaps right. My point is, if Boldum, who was brought up in the merchant mercantile, has learned the secrets of contract enforcement, the whole market is anarchy to me. And until we figure out what the real rules of this place are, at the top, at the bottom, in the middle, we should not go wands blazing at Josie, or any other stalwart for that matter.
How many days do we wait in the jungle room?
The court date is in 5 days. 5 days' time. You go there, you relax, you practice your craft. I have a library, a copy of every book from the Kyber library. You may examine them. Who knows, maybe you will level up before the court date. Learn a new skill.
I believe, well, unless you already have gathered this information, I believe one of us needs to speak with Sheba before she is potentially executed.
I plan on making a very
You
bold
all
move.
may not believe in this market and in the value of a contract, but mine must be fulfilled. And if there are kings of the market who do not value an executed contract, then they must be removed and replaced with people who do.
Charnak, does your contract get fulfilled if you stand against someone in the market, whether you are on the right side or not?
My clauses are my own, but I must believe that if the kings have violated a contract,
Then your contract may be violated anytime they see fit.
my contract is with the market.
And who runs the market? Why are we having a circular argument?
It's okay. Listen. Sheba is still in my care, officially. Josie will not keep me from taking her back before her court date.
We need the name of the ream.
Gregor Wint?
No, the king's ream.
The current one?
Or a previous one. That has to be the first step in determining whether the ream's contract was violated.
I see.
And I believe Ideer would have some notion of where the contracts are held.
I will store Sheba if you feel comfortable with it. I will store her in the jungle room as well.
That would make me feel better.
I don't know if that would make me feel better. They will ask about her. She is due for trial.
And we will deliver her. She was our mission.
I would feel a little better, but do I really feel the way I feel?
Oh, Charnak, why do you have to get existential with a decision like this? This is about staying alive right now.
Yes,
If your contract is as
agreed.
good if you die as if it is alive, then I don't even know why you care.
Well, my life is not important. The fulfillment of my contract is.
And do you need to be alive for your contract to be fulfilled?
Gentlemen, lady, go to my jungle room. You will find it.
Hot and humid, like this.
It is hot and humid. That is true. It's what I like. You go out the back of the bathhouse. Do not go all together. At the back of the bathhouse, there is a tree in a plain white pot. Touch the tree, and you will feel it is like a door. You will know it when you feel it, and you open the door with your mind. And when you open the door with your mind, you will be sucked in. Any door inside my jungle room takes you out to the same place. Any door.
Do you have clothes for us there? Not that I care, of course.
I will send them in.
Very well. And Ibis gets up.
Would you like your reams to go with you?
Yes.
Yes, it is better that way.
And you may, I can tell you this for a fact, I have tried it out myself. H has done this very thing there. You may enter your reams inside my jungle room. you may practice your magic inside my jungle room. I will not send H in without me. But if you would like to speak with her, that is the place you can do it.
Evis just gets up.
All right.
Well, I guess we know who's going first.
Dienfa gets up and follows Evis out.
Okay.
I, who have listened to instructions, chill in the bath.
And she looks at you and she says, anything else, Charnak, the botanist?
I can abide almost anything, but not the breaking of a contract. I have to believe that the rest of the market feels the same. Otherwise, why are we here?
I think that you and I are in agreement on this. But there's a chance. I have seen it enough out in the world. People have these rules that apply only to the poor, only to the lowly, only to the followers. I have always thought the market was better than that, but maybe it's not. We're all just people. You find out, and we will kill the ones who do not respect contracts. I pledge that to you.
Because if we do not, it is the end of the market.
And the end of all of us.
Who would sign a contract again?
Agreed. I will see if I can send Markeef into my jungle room as well. I will
It's
see
always
if I
nice to
can.
know there's one goblin around here that's got their priorities straight.
I think you should offer some grace to Ibis and Dinfa. They are doing their best.
And they are young.
They are. I'll see you in my jungle room. And she gets up and puts her robe back on and disappears out the back door.
I let out the fart that I've been holding for the past 10 minutes. Bubbles burbling around me. All right, I guess I'll go now.
So this is not a jungle room. This is a full-on jungle, miles and miles and miles of it. But when you enter, you are at a brick house that has glass windows, hardwood roof, a huge wraparound porch with rocking chairs that are made of bamboo.
And this is all for training?
Well, I mean,
living. But
ostensibly,
It's
all
clearly
for training.
like a plane where she
It's a
can
full
live
plane.
her life.
Yes,
yeah.
and a very comfortable bed is in there. As promised, there's the library of training materials that she obviously has been studying, and you see. Really, the only weird thing that you kind of didn't expect is there is a very old, and I don't mean like age old, but like archaic looking temple shrine built in one of her rooms to the elk, the great elk. And there are burned effigies around it, and bones that have clearly of animals and people that are there spread around this shrine. And let's see, I'm going to get a religion check from all of you.
Religione. 18 for Dinfa.
5.
4 for Ebus.
Yes.
This is
So
a little bit
Dinfa,
foreign.
you know enough about the market to know that the Great Elk was not really just a god. It's sort of like the founder of the goblin market. Like it's an old creature that myth has been like brought up around it. And this looks an awful lot like the stories that you've heard from originals that have returned of the old merchant warlocks used in their sort of prayer / communion with the elk.
Okay.
You also see a lot of the jungle has been burned down in places. It goes on and on and on, but like just right around the house.
Maybe where Zagat was practicing or something.
Yeah. 30 or 40 minutes later, the Reams arrive with changes of clothes, and not long behind them, the Markeef arrives in.
This is much more extensive than I was expecting. This
Yes.
is like an entire jungle settlement. I was just expecting some kind of, I don't know, jungle gym.
No, I agree. I wasn't expecting a jungle.
I like the
room.
jungle music. Lots of drums and bass.
So Markeef stumbles in and he says, "Oh my goodness, this is not okay. She told me a little bit about this. It's not okay. They should not have made a whole plane here for her. This is definitely against the rules. I don't know if it's a contract issue or not, but it's very bad."
If it was in her contract, I suppose it is all above board, isn't it?
Us. And he looks over and sees Charnak and he says, "Charnak,
My dear Markeef.
so I have been busy asking around.
Indeed. Discreetly, I assume.
Very discreetly. Dinfa, Ebus, and Charnak, I want you all to roll. Let's see here. Dinfa, I want you to roll a persuasion. And Ebus, I want you to roll history. And Charnak, I want you to roll an investigation check.
None of this is right. Wow. I have a -1, but I got a 16 on persuasion.
Awesome.
13 investigation.
That is a 22 in history, which is a natural 20.
All right.
Oh my God.
So the reason why I am having you all roll is that I'm treating the various things you asked Markeef to do. The way that you worded the questions, the way that the things that he was out looking for line up with these 3 checks. And there are rumors and answers that he has been getting. Now, Tim, your 22 is good enough for 2 rumors. And John, your 16 is good enough for 1 rumor.
Okay.
So, and 13 didn't cut it. Sorry, Sam.
It's not a rumor.
So
It's not a
Not a
rumor.
rumor.
not a rumor. So Tim, will start with you. Pick two numbers between 1 and 8.
6 and 7.
Okay. So he says, well, first of all, I found out that the leadership of Magical Oddities has been pretending like things are normal for a very long time. But they haven't created a new weapon in Two Kings. That's one rumor. The second one is the payoff. It's because all of the weaponsmiths left the market together 15 years ago. And everyone kept it real quiet. But somewhere out there, the Goblin market weapons makers for Magical Oddities have been plying their trade. To what end, no one seems to know, and no one has been able to find them. John, 1 to 8, but not 6 or 7.
4.
4. All right. All of the watchmakers, the ones who keep the portals, they met just an hour ago. And it turns out every plane that they have contact with is now tuned exactly with the D planes.
The D planes.
The watchmakers have a particular skill, and it all comes down to their tuning wands. And he produces one. He says, I don't know how it works, but this is a spent tuning wand. There are no charges left in it. And while they treat these like trash, its secrets are multitudinous. And I believe I might be able to crack them.
You think so?
Just ask Charnak. I was the only genius at our institution. I can do it all.
Like many specialists, Markeef may make the error that his knowledge is broadly applicable. But in this particular instance, I believe there is a suitable match between practitioner and subject.
Fair enough. I'm assuming you're claiming to be a practitioner yourself.
What I claim to be is immaterial to your progress.
I found this information at great risk to myself. But for you, I have one last thing. The top priority of stalwart Hicksaw is not now and never has been honest attainment of contract terms. Hicksaw wants one thing, and he's been using Magical Oddities to get it. He wants all the kings returned.
For what reason?
Returned to the market.
To the market. Our one abiding principle for leadership is that once you serve, you got to take the derv.
Is that a word?
It is now.
Derv. Sorry, I'm just getting the mouthfeel for it.
It's like a plank It's like walking a plank on a ship.
I understood the meaning.
It's something that people from our plane said, right, Charnek?
I don't want to derve into it.
You're being a real dervmonger right now, I can tell you that.
I'm beginning to think this word has multiple connotations.
Us.
Derv your mouth. Derv your dog.
Is it really 5 days that I have to be here with these crazy people?
Yeah. And Charnak, he just says, in the meantime, you're Zagat. Promised me I could leave some things here. No touching, no looking, my bag of holding. And he pulls out a bag and he puts it in the middle of the bookshelf. He just moves some of the books out of the way and puts his like this small bag there, and then puts the tuning wand back in. And he says, I mean it, Charnak. We're not going to have another incident like the bookshelf in Atefa. And he ties a knot.
I assure you, this incident will be completely different from that incident.
I have made certain guardian guardrails to keep you out of my bag. Or you, and he points at you, Dinfa, or you, Tiefling.
Perhaps your bag should not be hidden in plain sight.
I have a contract of words with Zagat. That should be all you need to know. Do not go in my bag. Au revoir. And he opens the door to her bedroom and then
Hors d'oeuvre?
disappears.
Ooh, that makes me hungry. Let's go see if there's food, huh?
Yeah, there's plenty of food here. So your reams are doing their thing. They're like eating. They're not really getting involved with you so much. It's sort of just like normal. And a few hours later, Zagat arrives with the strapping young noble. And he sees you and says, "Hey, I'm just so happy that you all are making an effort to keep me alive. It's very sweet."
You are welcome.
But just in case we can't keep you alive, wouldn't you like your knowledge to live on?
I'm already dead. There's nothing quite like being inside your own skin and suddenly not being, but still being. Do you know what I mean?
I can only imagine.
Do you have any idea what happened?
I don't know.
Is the boy still in there?
Oh, yes. In fact, I've even discovered how to do it. Are you ready for this? And then
Please don't throw up.
the eyes block out, and he says, "Oh, what a strange place. Everywhere I look, strange things. Strange things. Wait, who are you all?"
You saw us
No.
earlier.
No.
You are having a wonderful dream, dear
Dinfa.
Gregor. Go back to sleep.
I feel alive and very much awake. And then
Such is the magic of these sweet dreams brought on by our mystical fruits.
eyes white, and it's so cool. I can do it every time I want.
Can I ask what you see when you go away?
I was like I'm floating right above him.
So you can see what he sees.
I can see everything. Well, not everything, just everything in like a 3-foot radius. So really nothing a whole lot except for a lot of him, and he's pretty.
Very curious.
Sheba, is it still your contention that the Goblin Kings have violated Goblin contracts?
Well, I think it's been a little bit of time. since I've encountered a contract myself, but I think they're doing it. I'd never heard of a ream who had a contract that lasted more than 10 years.
Well, it sounds like that should be the first thing we establish then.
Well,
Do you know who these supposed reams are?
Well, Gregor has a contract. We can look. But it won't tell you what the intention is, just that he's.
You said it before I could. Intent to violate a contract is very hard to prove. But if we could know the names of any of the reams who have been through this before.
I know one. Terrell Hurtner.
Terrell Hurtner.
Terrell Hurtner. That's his name.
And which king is supposed to have taken his body?
Krill. That would have been three kings ago. He was he was a merchant. And he was lifted up very young indeed. And you know what happens when you become king? They don't have to honor your contract anymore. You should look at your own contract. They all have riders that say, unless you should rise to the rank of king of the Goblin Market.
I was just thinking that contracts tend to be more about obligations than prohibitions. And even if there were prohibitions, it is unlikely that there was a clause in the contract stating, also, your body will not be used as a permanent vessel housing the mind of a goblin king.
But they do say you get your body back.
They do, don't they? Or do they? That is why we must find the contract.
Well, I've told you what I can.
Do you know where we can find Terrell Hurtner?
Well, that I do know. He's an A64.
How on earth would you know that? I asked it thinking there's no way you could possibly know that.
I slept with him twice. In A64. He is a rich blacksmith. Not too big a manner.
If we believe you, Krill is now a rich blacksmith.
Well, Hurtner one day had a lot of abilities that Krill once had.
Was it not some time ago that you were with Hurtner? Wouldn't decades have passed since
sometime,
then?
Yes. Well, I mean, I'll tell you, he was young when I was with him.
If he's remained on an A plane relative to us.
Well, that's true. I guess he might be real old or dead now. They put all the kings on A planes.
So that they may be retrieved if needed.
Or to get rid of them quickly.
Well, the one thing Zag had asked me to do is teach you a little something from my travels. So, what do you want to know? And you all are now level 2.
Hey!
As Kybers. The next 3 days go by relatively quickly as you're practicing your new abilities with your reams. You're kept sequestered, and at some point, one of you, probably Dinfa, but maybe Charnak, maybe Ibis, decides you're going to leave the jungle room, and you realize that the doors are not working and that you are stuck here at the will and the whim of Zagat.
Did we get a chance to
Why am I not surprised?
speak to H?
H is not here. H never came.
So Zagat never showed up either?
Zagat never showed up.
We're just in here for 5 days.
So,
My mind is on Zagat now. And how we retrieve Hurtner without Hurtner.
so you are in Zagat's jungle room. You are practicing your craft.
Jungle Gym, please.
The jungle gym. You've got your reams in here. If there's any business you want to take care of with your reams that are not scenes, or if they are scenes, I'm happy to do it now. My only word of advice to you is that the reams have no idea what's going on, and it's probably best to keep it that way until you have a clearer picture of what's going on.
That was going to be my next question. How much did I dare tell them?
Nothing. It's clear that they don't know anything.
They've just been asked to move over here.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So
Listen, I thought it was clear that they don't know anything from the start.
Yeah. Yeah.
So in this situation, level 2 Kybers, if we get into our reams, does that make the reams level 2 as well?
Now, hold on. We're not level 2 Kybers, right?
That's what he said.
Yeah, he said
We
that.
are level 2 piloted reams.
Well, so
That's what I'm asking. That's what I'm asking.
So we're gonna do the level up in the bonus, but what I will say is that you level up as a Kyber, and that allows you to level up your piloted ream as well, and we'll get deeper into this.
That doesn't make any sense, but we can discuss
We'll
it
get
in the
to that
bonus.
in the bonus.
Yeah, I this is the only thing that for people who are not going to listen to the bonus, know that the ream will never level up in terms of when you're not piloting it,
because they're not actually having experiences.
That's right.
Right.
Your abilities as a pilot continue to improve. Those abilities as a pilot do not play out very much in your walking around the Goblin Market abilities. There are some things that do carry over, but most of it is very specific to when you are piloting your ream.
Mm-hmm.
That said, the hit dice for a Kyber is a D4, and you're going to get that. So you'll have a D4 plus your con, and the abilities that you get as a Kyber from the Kyber class, which I'll go over those again with you in the bonus. Those all, many of those can be done when you're not piloting. We'll talk about those when we get into the bonus. But any other questions before we sign off, fellas?
No, but I'm going to have a lot of questions for after.
Okay. Okay. All right, everybody. First level up on the bonus.
Boom.
Sign up for Patreon if you want to hear it go down. We have a lot of great things over there. We have the
Character
full
creations over there.
character
That's right.
creations, all the ad-free episodes of Campaign 1, plus the totally awesome premium campaign of Mountain City Mayhem as well.
Yeah, there's a lot.
All right, everybody.
Thanks for coming by.
Thanks for coming
Thanks
by.
for
Thanks for
coming
coming
by.